Hey everybody, we shot a movie with this thing. I'm gonna play for you a 3-minute short film that I filmed with my very busted old iPhone XR, and after we're gonna talk about why the DJI OM6 is the best single filmmaking tool for new filmmakers and video creators. But first, to the theater!
Ladies and gentlemen, please take your seats. The show is about to begin.
I hear you fix problems.
You could say that.
Well, I got a big problem.
Why don't you start at the beginning?
Do you always work in a dark office?
Well, actually, I prefer it.
And the soft jazz?
Miss
Page. Nora Page.
Miss Page, how can I help you?
I got myself tied up in something. Something bad. And I need someone to untie me.
Miss Page, I'm just a numbers guy.
Let's say you were unfaithful to your wife.
I don't have a wife.
Let's say you had a very good reason.
Listen, none of this is making any sense.
Mr. Harlow, I'm gonna make you an offer. I'm gonna write down my number and the amount that I'm willing to pay you if you're good at untying knots. I give you 12 hours to call me back. Jack, I'm glad you came to your senses.
Well, Miss Page, you do have a way of making your problems my problems.
Your door was open, Jack. I only walked in. Nicely done, Jack.
We good?
Better than ever.
Miss Page, wait.
Jack, don't frighten me.
Oh, I forgot to give you this. I fixed the problem, but you have to clean up the mess.
Okay, we're back. Obviously, nobody is winning an Oscar with this film. The point was not to make the best film we could. The goal was to make a film by only using the phone and the OM6. No filters, no fancy apps, no lenses. Additionally, we had no crew and very minimal gear. The only thing we really had in addition to the gimbal was an audio recorder and 2 lav mics, which really anyone can rent for very cheap. We also had 2 lights, a Kino Select LED panel light and an LED Go Fresnel. I chose these lights because there's 2 scenes that were interiors, and it helped me really shape the light. I could have just as easily gotten away with using lights from a hardware store and a shower curtain. I tried as best I could to make sure that I was shooting in the same way someone who is just starting out might, which is, number 1, I didn't use real actors. This is my colleague Jack and my friend Alba. As previously mentioned, I didn't have a crew even. I also wrote the script the day before, and I used what free locations I had, namely our office building here at Vistek. There is a host of problems with this little film, as can be expected. We have loads of continuity problems, audio issues, and I forgot to record audio on a few takes. Everything that usually happens when you're rushing. The 3 of us shot this whole thing in about 6 hours. The reason I chose a film noir style is because when I was walking around our building and taking location photos with my phone, I noticed that the high contrast locations were really quick and easy wins. Shooting in black and white also really helped me get around the iPhone XR's horrendous color science. And this is something I actually recommend, which is starting out in black and white because it helps you to focus on framing without the distractions of color. You're simply working with luminance. Now, I can't speak for Android users, but if you want to see a black and white image on your phone, you can turn that mode on in your accessibility settings. Now, this helped me compose and light based on a black and white image. Okay, so now that you have some context, I want to talk about using the OM6. When DJI asked me to review it, I was too busy at the time, and since then, a lot of amazing reviews have come out, and as you all know, I'm not really one for adding to the echo chamber. What I did notice about this device when I started to use it, however, was that it did all the camera moves that professional filmmakers apply on their sets every day. DJI takes it a step further and actually teaches you how to do these moves. We're going to talk about that in just a minute. But this is exactly what a new filmmaker needs. When you are new to filmmaking, or let's say content creation, you don't really know what's possible. You don't have the experience or library of moves or setups yet. Instead, what most often happens is that the industry and YouTubers want to convince you to spend loads of money on the, let's say, newest mirrorless camera, lenses, or LED lighting. And I'm telling you right now, the best use of your money is to take the smartphone you likely already have and buy an OM6. Learning where to put a camera and how to move a camera is infinitely more valuable than having 10-bit log profiles, an aperture of 1.4, etc., etc. Now, if you don't believe me, Steven Soderbergh, arguably one of my favorite filmmakers, shot the entirety of High Flying Bird for Netflix on an iPhone 8. Yes, he had Hollywood-level resources, but when you watch the film, you don't say, oh, it's unwatchable because everything is wide and in focus. What Soderbergh knows is that every camera is just a tool, but the ability to make engaging content or films comes from experience. It comes from knowing what our camera can or can't do and how that camera can tell a story, like when to park it, when to pan it, when to boom, when to dolly, or when to orbit. When to do just about anything because it all has an effect on the story you're trying to tell. Cinema is about movement. Either your camera has to move or your subjects do. What sets high-level cinema apart from the rest is that the camera's movement is playing a role in how you feel about those characters or the story in general. It's a proxy for the viewers. It brings you into the world of the character. Understanding this fundamental part of filmmaking early on will make you an incredible filmmaker once you can afford to have that crew and a camera. So let me now show you how the OM6 can make you a better filmmaker. The design allows for a lot of flexibility and options beyond just simply stabilizing your footage for smooth camera movement. It allows for a huge range of camera moves. For example, you can pan, you can tilt, boom up or down, dolly in or out, crab left to right, track your subjects up high or down low. You can add a spin or Dutch angles, and you can get the device into places that might be tough to fit a larger camera and gimbal. Plus, it all fits in your pocket. Once you become familiar with how the gimbal operates, DJI has an amazing feature called Shot List. It gives you a wealth of situations that will help you design full scenes utilizing all the features of the gimbal. For example, once you shoot a take, you can compare it to the sample to make sure that you nailed it. If you didn't, then you can really just try as much as you like, and it tells you what you've already shot so you don't have to keep track. Now, unfortunately, the app doesn't edit the footage for you as it shows in the Shot List feature, but the Mimo app does offer an AI editor that gives you some control to refine after it's already done its job. Otherwise, there are some really great video editing apps for your smartphone, or you can transfer it to your desktop to edit as I did with our film. If even this is a bit too advanced for you and you need to ease into that, well, there is an auto-edited video feature called Stories. And you can still really learn a lot from this. It does much the same things as the Shot List feature, but edits and puts it all together to music for you. So you can really see how these cuts can actually work when pieced together with music and effects. Now, let's look at one example. The one downside with the story features that I can't really seem to work around is that it forces their standard titles and graphics on you, which I find a bit cheesy. The trade-off, of course, is that you barely have to do any work. You can also dive into the custom stories and design your own based on different templates, and then save it as a custom template. All great tools to help you understand how to move your camera and then integrate those shots into an edit. Lastly, the OM6 is a tool that ideally you should really never outgrow. Once you graduate to using cameras, whether they be mirrorless hybrid cameras or larger cinema bodies, the OM6 is still going to be a great filmmaking tool. And the reason is prep. What you want to be doing is bringing your OM6 to all the location or tech recce's to help plan your shots. Use the phone to audition camera moves and frames, so you can even test out shots and see how they'll work in an edit before you commit to it on the shoot day. Now naturally, there are some caveats when using this app, etc. One of the things that you'll be fighting in your cinema look is going to be if you're shooting, say, outside or in brighter interiors during the day. Without specialized filters, it's going to be difficult for you to get that classic motion blur associated with a 180-degree shutter or 1/50th of a shutter speed when shooting at 24 frames. The extreme brightness of the sun, even behind clouds, is going to force your camera to use higher shutter speeds, and thus it's really just not going to look as smooth. There are a host of things that you can get for your phone to make it easier to shoot with, but the first investment I recommend is a neutral density filter. These are basically sunglasses for your camera and allow you to shoot at the right shutter speed for cinematic motion blur. If filmmaking on your phone specifically is something you really enjoy, then I also recommend that you invest in the Filmic Pro app. It gives you full control of your phone's camera in the same way a cinema camera does. And it's also another great learning tool because you can see the effects of various exposure and color settings versus just letting your phone do everything automatically. This knowledge will come in very handy when you get a dedicated camera. And again, for our film, we use neither ND filters nor Filmic Pro because I wanted to show you what's possible with nothing more than your phone's native camera app. There's a lot more I can say about shooting videos or movies with your smartphone. Like everything, there is going to be some hurdles to contend with despite how powerful and accessible the technology has become. The biggest message that I want to send out with this video is while it's my job to inform you about all the latest and greatest equipment, most of that stuff won't make you a better filmmaker when you're just starting out. It just kind of gives you more resources. What sets the OM6 apart is that it can actually teach you the things that will make you a better filmmaker. Again, presuming of course that you're just starting out. For $215 Canadian, it's honestly really hard to find a better product that will give you so much. And with that, we are done for today. As always, please subscribe to this channel for more videos like this and comment in the comment section below. I would love to hear what you think about smartphone filmmaking, about using these gimbals. They're not just for traveling and vlogs. I think there's a lot of great things that we can do with them, and I'd love to hear your ideas, your thoughts, whether you agree or disagree with me, and all of the above and all of the below. For me, for now, for today, I'm out. Peace.